that is that. What's going on, family? It's your brother Divine Prospect, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries, back in effect. What's going on to everybody? It's been a very grueling, 30 days so far for me. Had a lot going on with kids being home for the summer and family coming in town to visit. To side quests that I've been working on, to working my full-time jobs, etc. It's been a lot. But now that school has started back up for the children, they're no longer home with me. So now I have more time to prep and to do stuff like this. And I'm getting a better handle on my new work projects as well. It's made it very manageable for me now to be here in front of the camera for y'all. I want to thank all y'all who's been patient with me and with the ministry. We appreciate that. There's a lot of work that we have to do, stuff that still needs to be done, and some things that going to be a little bit of changes going on. But I want to give some updates before we get started into our usual Q&A and stuff like that. First thing first is, I'm gonna try to go live tomorrow, and all of this to be taken care of. That's how you know I've been in the grind. You know what I mean? Like, all of this has just been getting pretty wolfy right now, but we're gonna take care of that. But thank the Most High, we keeping the statute, laws, and commandments, and keeping our beard. And again, you're not violating Torah by shaping up your beard. Okay, we went over that before. But if anybody has an issue with that, let me know, and we can address it. It's very simple, right? That's number one. Number two, I've been working on record label. I've been talking about this for years now, maybe about 4 years, and I think this year is really where it's beginning. So much so that I've already done the paperwork for it, and we have an act that I'm working on that is another genre of music that's designed to create the revenue so we can pour it into Truth Music. We already got like 3 or 4 artists already. I'm not going to reveal the names yet until everything is taken care of on the back end. But these are some names that you guys are definitely familiar with, especially if you've heard our KHM mixtapes, you're familiar with them. And they will pretty much be leading the charge in regards to this new record label, and it's truth-based record label. It's not a secular record label. It's a truth-based record label. And what we're going to be doing over time as we're scaling, we're going to pick up some more truth artists in different subgenres within truth music. And we want to kind of stretch our wings and kind of take care of those artists, right? So they don't have to worry about the typical things that they would have to if they was going to another record label from, the secular realm, who don't care nothing about the Most High, integrity, being genuine, etc. So that's what we want to cultivate with these artists. But also part of this record label, we're going to be dealing with other genres of music. Again, everything that we deal with is pretty wholesome, nothing that would contradict Torah or the lifestyle that we live. But these are being revenue generators because they're popular in the secular realm, and we could pull those funds and put it into truth music. All right. I've been having my heart set on this for about 4.5 years. I really wanted to, almost 5 years, I think 5 years before COVID. I've been wanting to get this done. And I've already had talks with these couple of artists that I was considering signing. And we're going to do like a signing video and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to pretty hype it up. Not sure when that will start yet. This year, the focus is getting this primary act out and about, and also getting all the paperwork done and everything, so we're official. And going into next year, we'll start signing our truth artists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, willing. All right. So that's something else I've been working on while I was off screen. And this first act that we have here is really, really interesting. And I'm putting a lot of effort behind it to get it off the ground, so that way it can fund the rest of the truth music endeavors that we're looking to engage in. Right. So all praise to the Most High, man. Some things take some time. It is what it is. You feel what I'm saying? So, but it's all Gucci. With that being said, that's the first thing I want to let you know. I'll probably let me do a reveal right now for y'all. I was gonna save it for Patreon, but I'm here, so I'm gonna share it with y'all so you can see the name of the record label. So if you look around, you may even see, and this will be an Easter egg, the record label attached to an artist that we just released, that is on all streaming platforms. We put the single out We're putting the album out this weekend, and then we're working on another studio album for this artist, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and share that with y'all so you can see. Let me see. Do I have it on here? I should have it on here. Hold on. I'm gonna share this with y'all. Let's see. Um, I'm gonna share this with y'all. Hold on. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, here it is. All right, I'm gonna share it on the screen. All right, I'm giving my shout outs in a second. All right, here it is. That's the reveal right there. I have one with an animation, but I didn't share. I'm not sharing it yet. But there it is right there. You know what I'm saying? So again, Divine Light Records is going to be our record label that we're launching going into 2025. Like I said, I already got an artist out with a single right now. It's not in the genre of truth music, but it's in another genre that's pretty much designed to generate revenue, right? Um, and the actual song that's out right now. Wrote the song, helped to compose it and everything like that, and promote it. I did the artwork and everything like that. So if you can look for this is the Easter egg. If you can somehow find this and attach it to maybe a Google search, you'll see what that single is. If somebody gets it in the chat, we could do a giveaway. We could do a giveaway. If you can find out the name of the artist and the name of the song, the single that we got out, we'll do a giveaway, right? But this is what it is, Divine Light Records. That's the symbol, etc. All praise to the Most High, man. Divine light, because that light comes from the divine, the Most High, and He's going to shine on all of this work we do with this record label, so we can make it a reality. And again, the objective is to take truth music and make it popular, so we can reach more people for the Most High. All praises, all praises, all praises to the Most High. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and drop that. Been working hard on that. Still working hard on that. Again, we're gonna get the album out this weekend. So there's that. But if you can figure that out right now, anybody in there that's watching, you'll go ahead and I'll give you all the giveaway. All right. Let's transition from there. All right. Currently, let me see if I could pull this up real quick. I could probably pull it up. Let's see if I could pull it up. I'm not logged in. Let's see if I can log in real quick. Okay, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? If you look at the title, you'll probably get an idea of what I'm about to share. I don't know why this is not signing me in. What's going on? All right. Well, I'm not going to be able to share it here. But anyway, I'll just talk through it, because for whatever reason, my Instagram is not coming up on in my Chrome browser. So a lot of y'all are aware that Ron Dalton, who a lot of y'all know from the Hebrews to Negroes franchise, has put out a challenge, and he's challenging any Israelite leader in regards to the geographical location of what is called Israel. Okay. He posits that Israel is in Africa. And when I say Africa, I'm not talking about the African tectonic plate, like we like to propose here, which is Northeast Africa. He's saying that it is in East and Southeast Africa. That is his proposition, that this is where Israel is located. Now, I went to his last showing for his last film. Man, I don't know. Time is blurred with me. I think it was this year or last year. I don't even remember. Maybe somebody can throw it in there or whatever. And I watched his presentation, and some of it I was like, cool. And some of it I was like, whoa, I wholly disagree with that. Right. But I never came out and said anything, right? Because, there was no need to, I just kept those to myself. And I say, hey, if I ever get a chance to speak with him, I'll share with him my perspective on that, etc. But now he has put out this challenge. Now, I saw when he first put out the challenge, and I was like, let me see who's going to respond to that. Then I got maybe 30 plus people saying, Divine, Ron Dalton put out this challenge, and we know you don't teach this, and blah, blah, blah. Why don't you debate him? Why don't you debate him? I was like, nah, I'm not going to debate him. I'll consider it if he calls me out directly, which he did not. Until recently. He has recently. I said, let me just sit back. Let me just see, how this is going to turn out. Because, we've done several live streams on this. You know what I'm saying? And in my library back here, right, let me see if I can point to it. Right here. These green books behind me right here easily dismisses this argument. We went over this before. These books right here. These books right here dismisses the argument. After you go through that and use that as proof, you can't debate anymore after that, right? However, we're going to keep that tucked in the event that we have to do the debate. So I stepped back and I said, let me see how this turns out. Let me see, what happens to see how this turns out. And lo and behold, Deacon Aka from Genesis Camp, he used to be part of Sakari, from Genesis Camp, he took the debate. Him and brother, what's the brother's name? The young brother with his name. I can't believe I forgot. Hassad, brother Hassad, right? So I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Now those brothers, I'm gonna tell you right now, when those brothers teach outside the camp doctrine, they know how to research. And I know because I've had plenty of conversations with them. Chief Alazar, Hassad, Deacon Aka. I spoke to those brothers, brother Asherallah, and I've had tons of conversations with them. So much so that GMS did a video saying that I've influenced those brothers in regards to their perspective on Paul and stuff like that, which I thought was very, very funny. But what I will say is that coming into this community back in 2016, I told this community that y'all got to get into the academics of this stuff, man. Y'all got to step your scholarship up. And what I saw in the community just was inefficient dealing with scholars and opposition outside the community, where you would have to perform structured apologetics to defend what you believe. So even with my position now, I no longer use Deuteronomy chapter 28:68 to say, oh, this right here shows that we're Israelites. I don't use that. You know what I'm saying? I've spoken about this openly. I've done videos on that as well, right? I did fully subscribe to it. Now I've kind of stepped back from that because there's other ways that you can make that point outside of that, right? And this is why you get into the scholarship, because the scholarship that exists that addresses this, right? So my position on that is very different. So Deuteronomy chapter 64 to 67 deals with the curses that affects us in exile. If we're not in the land, everything from verses 15 to verse 63, that all deals with us while we're in the land. Now, there's a few elements in that you can extend to exile, but for the most part, in the exilic state, it is explicitly addressed by Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 64 to 67. 68 is totally different situation. I'll probably do another video on that, go back over that with y'all again, but that is completely different. And again, you don't have to lean on that. Now, what we typically do when somebody comes new into the truth, we do the Deuteronomy 28 one-on-ones, and we bring them through that to say, oh, look, this is how you know we're Israel, etc. That's fine. Sometimes I do that for fun, but whatever. But when you get more sophisticated, and you go into the layers of this thing, you see that you don't no longer need that, right? So with that being said, the same thing goes for where the geographic location of Israel is at. The geographical location of Israel is not in the interior of Africa. Okay. It's totally not in the interior of Africa. And I'm going to tell you why. When you look at authentic primary sources of the migration of Israelites into Africa, all of them, the authentic ones. Now, there's some inauthentic ones, there's some forgeries and all that stuff flowing out there, but the authentic ones. And again, if you go to my Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect, I've spoken about this. Matter of fact, I give you all the primaries on the Patreon. All you gotta do is sign up for the Patreon, select the tier, type in West Africa, Black Jews. All of it will come up. All the primaries come up. When you look at all the primaries showcase that they are not native to the region in which they are found, including East Africa. They're not native. They're not native. So if this is the case, and again, academia and scholars that deal with what we call African Jewry, they will all tell you that is not native to that region. And there's ways we can validate that is not native to that region. Again, aside from the material culture, material religion that automatically dismisses also the account showcase because of that material religion and because of that material culture, we see that it is dissimilar from the surrounding material culture, surrounding material religion, because they brought it with them. And what you get is what I always explain to y'all is acculturation, cultural diffusion, and enculturation. Cultural diffusion happens when there's acculturation, which means you have one culture. I'll give you an example, modern day example, right? Jamaicans come from the island of Jamaica. They are what's called West Indians, okay? Which is a bad term, but whatever, right? When there was a migration in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and Marcus Garvey was one of these migrants coming from Jamaica, right? And they come settle here in mainland America, USA, where they were Black or African Americans or whatever you can, foundational Black American, FBAs, whatever, right? That was here. These individuals had two distinct cultures. Even though they had a parent culture at some point, while they was in slavery and after emancipation, they developed different cultures because of different regions. So, for example, your beef patties, your ackee and saltfish, they're just naming some food items, right? The term Rasta, Rastafarian, all of these things came with the migration of Jamaicans to mainland America, where the foundational Black Americans or African Americans were established. And then you had the Jamaican populace coming here with us here. When I say us, I'm talking about those of us who ancestry goes back to mainland African Americans that came straight from West Central Africa instead of coming from the islands. Now, my mother's side, that side of my family comes from the islands. So they was part of that migration. My grandmother came here in the 1940s, and she's from St. Thomas, right? And Totola. That's where her family's from, right? So she came here from that migration. My dad's side of the family was already here. So the point I'm trying to make is this, and I could even demonstrate this personally, because my grandmother coming from the islands, my mom being first generation here, marrying my dad who was already here, and the stuff that my mother got from my grandmother was introduced to my father. So whether that be certain terms, lingo, material culture items, whatever, you have two cultures that are distinct in that you can see that they're distinct. But what happens is because they live side by side, acculturation happens where cultural diffusion is one term, one practice, one idea transfers from this culture to that culture, from this culture to that culture. And it happens like that over time, but they never lose their distinction. But what happens is after hundreds and hundreds of years, which has not happened yet, but after hundreds and hundreds of years, it comes to a point where you cannot tell the distinction no more. And that's when enculturation occurs. So what happens is these Jews, these Israelites who are migrated from today what is known as Israel, Palestine, to those regions in East Africa, West Africa, South Africa, they brought these things with them. Now, one of the interesting things, if you look at the Lemba Jews having what we call the Modal haplogroup, specific haplogroup, that's a Levirate haplogroup. They can't be native to that region if they have that haplogroup. They have the J marker. There's no way they can be native to that region if you say that they're Jews. Authentically, that J marker didn't develop in that region. So you got to address that. With that being said, anybody that makes a proposition, and again, shout out to my brother Ron Dalton. I have nothing but love and respect for him. I don't agree on everything, but I have love and respect for him and what he has accomplished with his brand, right? But I disagree if you're saying that that is Israel, because the primary sources don't agree with it. The material, religion, culture does not agree with it. Even loan words will hurt you on that as well. So that becomes something that's a conundrum that will have to be worked out with an open debate that addresses these points. Now, I'm going to sit back and watch how Deacon Hakah and Brother Assad, how they handle this debate. And then, based on the professionalism exhibited by both parties and how things are set up, I will consider having this follow-up debate with Ron Dalton, which I think will be very healthy and very good, because I'm going to be 100% professional, respectful, and just come with the information. Straight up. Boom, boom, boom. I know his position because I've seen his last film, all 5+ hours of it. I watched the whole thing twice. So I've seen his entire film. I know his perspective. I know the sources he uses. And all somebody has to do is just watch my YouTube channel, and they will be familiar with my position as well. There's no secret. I don't deal with ambush scholarship. Okay? So when I say that to say that I don't have an issue with having this debate under the right circumstances and conditions. And after I see how it goes with the first opposition, then I'll consider setting up a second follow-up one with him. All right. I would love to see how those brothers do. All right. So I got to bring that out because this is trending right now. You know, Ron Dalton challenging all these Israelite leaders to this debate. That's trending in our community right now. It's trending. And my name was mentioned. I typically stayed out of it. I was on Clubhouse with Garfield. What's that brother? D-Red and a couple other brothers. We was in a Clubhouse session, and that topic come up. I didn't bring it up. Somebody brought it up. We had a conversation about it. I stated what my position was. And with that being said, I don't know who it was. Probably Garfield, somebody else. I don't know. There was a whole bunch of people listening in. Somebody went back and told Ron Dalton. I don't know who it is yet because I didn't really investigate, but if I wanted to, I could find out. Somebody went back and told him that he made a post on Instagram about his upcoming debate with Deacon Hakah, and he called me out. So I said, okay, call me out. Then he messaged me, hey, I'm trying to get in touch with you. Now, he has my number. My number has never changed. Like since I got into this community, I've had the same number, right? My ministry number has been the same for years. He has my number, but he messaged me because I guess he wanted to confirm that he had the right number, even though he called me and I spoke to him on the phone in the past and he texted me in the past. That's fine. And he mentioned something about Garfield. And so I'm assuming Garfield's the one who sent the information over to him about the debate. And he says, oh, I'm trying to get in touch with you. Should I go through Garfield? I said, look, Garfield is not my admin. KHM is wholly separate from Garfield. And that's definitely not the best route to communicate with me because I don't work with Garfield business-wise. I just know him personally. I don't deal with him business-wise. And I told him, based on how your current debate, transpires, then I will consider having a follow-up debate with you, right? So that's what it is. So if this happens, this will be one of the biggest debates in the history of our community because a lot of people are adopting this. Now, mind you, on this channel, I've debated several people that hold to that position. It's already out there. Just look it up. I debated several people. So with that being said, I have tons of sources. And anybody's part of the Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. Sign up now. We have tons of material on there. All you have to do is go to the Patreon and see all my primary sources. I got about 40 of them. 40 primary sources that you can't dispute. 40 of them. That's used in the discipline called African Jewry. And the experts in that field, they all cite these sources. But there's some sources that some people in our community cite or quote that academia does not touch because they know it's either forgery, they know it's inauthentic, or they know it's something that comes much later. I don't deal with sources like that. I don't deal with sources like that. Shout out to Yap Gang in the building. All right. So with that being said, before we transition, let me give a couple of more shout outs. And then I'm going to go in and tell you how YouTube is hating on my channel. Again, this is very discouraging, and I have to push through it when YouTube continuously deletes my videos. They keep deleting. So far, I think they're on 15 videos they deleted of mine so far. And half of them is about the vaccine. Oh, I may not be able to say that word on here no more. I may not even be able to teach in regards to health on here because, y'all forbid, I mentioned vaccine. The video is going to get deleted at some point. They waited 3 years to delete my last video. 3 years. And you know what's crazy? Everything that I said about vaccines, and I gave primary source material from peer-reviewed scientific articles, from NCBIH and all types of sites, Science Direct and everything else. I gave that and then spoke and then added and contributed my portion to the source. Years later, everything was authenticated after the whole COVID thing was over. YouTube, are you going to restore my videos now? And they deleted the video, so I don't even know exactly what I said in that video. But they told me it had to do with vaccines and it's medical misinformation and it could cause harm. But then they say they think I violated. You think? I tried to appeal, it didn't work. So half the videos that I put out that's been deleted were health-oriented videos and whereby I mentioned vaccination. Fascinating. I'm causing harm to the YouTube community that they said they had to protect. I'm going to show you that real quick. Let's give the shout outs. Shout out to Sedaria Halliburton, Shalom. Ice You Coach, Shalom. Get Wise, Shalom. Bronx Baller, 1020, Shalom. Thanks for the prayers. Thank you so much. Been going through a lot, but I'm here. I popped up. I'm here. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Jeshuron, Shalom. Sister Asantua, Shalom. Talking Apes in the building. What's going on, King? Yashar Napash. Shalom King 617. Let's get it. Shalom Katriel Ben Yisrael. Shalom Nidlante. Hey brother, let me know if how things go through with that religious exemption. Hey, anybody else here that needs a vaccination religious exemption? You see YouTube? You gonna delete this video too, YouTube? Holla us, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. So the banner up so that you can see this information. But you can always go back to it on the replays. But anybody here that needs a religious exemption letter, we will assist you with that. If you need it for your employer or if you need it for your university in regards to influenza or COVID-19, let me know and we will assist. Now, you better hurry up and reach out to us because there's no telling after this video goes up in the replays, at some point, they're going to delete it. They're going to delete it. Mark my words. And I think they're systematically deleting every video that I've made in regards to vaccinations. I think I only have a handful left. They deleted everything else, which is crazy because I did a whole video on COVID. I don't know if I mentioned vaccines in that video. Let me share this link for y'all real quick. All right. Before they delete it, download it. Hey, everybody out there, download all of my videos. You have permission to download it and repost my videos. I'm okay with that. All right. Have it in more places, be less likely to get all of them. Okay, let me see if I can find this video. Let me see if I can find it. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Here it is. Got it. I'm going to share this video with y'all. I don't know if I talked about vaccinations in here, but I definitely do address COVID-19. If anybody in here wants to know anything about COVID-19, that is the video you watch. I did a whole video on it. A lot of y'all not even aware that I did a whole video on it, but it's there. So let me check this out. Hold on 1 second. I don't think I addressed the vaccine in here. Let me see. Let me see if I addressed it in here. Yeah, I did not address the vaccination. That's probably why it's still up. So pretty much all I did was I went into the etiology and about COVID. What is it? How it infects you, et cetera, et cetera. And then I gave you a plant-based regimen on how to address it in the absence of using a vaccination, right? That video has all the information out there and it's free. But see, this is what happens. When I post free stuff, YouTube deletes it. When I post private stuff, I have not had one video, post, audio deleted from Patreon. Not one. Whether I talked about vaccinations or anything else, nothing has been deleted from Patreon. Everything is there. So I may start moving some of these videos over to Patreon and just make it public because I have had nothing deleted from there. But here I had over 15 deletions that I could remember. 15 deletions. I'm causing potential harm to the YouTube community. Little on me and KHM, which is wild. Anyway, let's go back over to the shout outs. All right. Shout out to Big Chief Prince Vision, Bana Congo J, Bina Bat Ephraim, Keenan Clayton Jr., Emilio Oliveira, I think that's what I'm saying right. My brother Jedediah, Shalom, Yosef Donald, Shalom, Maurice Crum, you said you've been trying to reach out. Oh, okay. I'll go back and check those emails. I check them infrequently. I have admins that do check them here and there as well. We may have missed that, my brother, but we're going to catch that, okay? Appreciate you being here. Chief Arab, Daryawesh, Yashakar, Shalom, Deborah Swart, Shalom, Sean Harris, Shalom. Let's see. Droze TV, Shalom, H. Wayne, Shalom. You said, what's the topic for debate? What is the true location of Israel? Ron Dalton says it's in Africa. I say it's in Palestine, where it's at today. Araya, the Sia, Shalom. He says, Divine, can you explain the meaning of the 9 candlestick menorah in your background? Yes, that is the Maccabees menorah in the background. So I have it there because it is a symbol for revolution in regards to bucking against an oppressive system so that we can maintain the statute, laws, and commandments of the Most High, whether we're in exile, captivity, or not. So it is a symbol of the Maccabees revolt, right? The revolutionary spirit that comes from the revolt we use today so we can speak out against oppression. All right? So that's what that is. Just like you see the Star of David, where's that? Right here. The Star of David. This is an award I got from the Sign of the TV Awards. In 2018, I won a Sign of the TV Awards. 2017, I won a Black Power Award for 21st Century Scholar. For the Sign of the TV Awards, I won the Top Hebrew Scholar Award. And then you'll see there's an award right underneath that, right here from Great Awakening Assembly, GAA, in 2019 that I won for Hebrew Unity. All right, that's what that stuff is back there. Good eye. Thank you for paying attention. So cool, right? Shout out to you, love Yah, Shalom. Let me see. Who else is in? Bobby Johnson, Shalom. Shondat Law, Shalom, sis. What's going on? It's been so long since I've spoken to you. We got to catch up. You're invited to this channel anytime, and I would love to come back on your channel because the last time we did a build years ago, it was phenomenal. Thank you for being here, sis. I appreciate you. Faith and Work 7, Shalom. Love God, Shalom. Let's see. Who else? Shalom to Lynn, Shalom. Let's see. Kodak, Shalom. I think that's everybody. I think I caught everybody. Gaza, the Zealot, Shalom. What's going on? All right. Let's transition. All right. Went from the Ron Dalton thing to YouTube hating. And you wonder why I have to continue to work on building up the Patreon, because on Patreon, they don't delete nothing. On Patreon, I have tons of articles and books dealing with vaccinations and vaccines. And I'm not saying vaccines is evil, it's wicked, it don't work. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's an alternative. And everybody has the right to explore the alternative to vaccinations. Do you understand? There's least adverse effects if you go the alternative route. I'm not saying that vaccines are bad, wicked, evil. That's not what I'm saying. And I've never said that. And they still delete my videos. I give a disclaimer, I preface it, and they still delete my videos. But praise the Most High, we still have everything on the Patreon. All the articles, books, and everything is on it. Videos I've done is all over there on the Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. Not one post over there has been deleted. Everything is up if you want information in regards to plant-based alternatives and regimens. And if you decide you want to know more about vaccination, we have it over there. Also, one of our part of KHM is Natural Path to Eden, one of our subsidiaries. And if you're interested in looking for a plant-based regimen as an alternative to COVID vaccinations, email us at naturalpathtoeden@gmail.com. That information will be down below in the description as well. All right. All right. So let me see. A shout out to Bishop Bullwinkle. Shalom. Bless God. Grace and peace. Okay. My brother Deji 144, hopefully I'm saying that right. Is the Codex Sinaiticus fake? For a novice like me, what manuscripts would you recommend? How do you determine what the original is saying? Okay. So let me address this real quick, and then I'm going to transition from this to YouTube being a hater. All right. So with that being said, the Codex Sinaiticus is not fake. I'm not sure where you're drawing that from, but it's not fake. So if you're looking at New Testament manuscripts, which this is, you have to go to the Center for the Study of New Testament Manuscripts that's led by Dan Wallace. Okay? And there's several books. If you go to the Patreon, look up Textual Criticism on the Patreon, and you'll be able to see I have several books up there that deal with all the manuscript evidence that we have in regards to the New Testament and the methods that's used in textual criticism to authenticate those manuscripts. The Codex Sinaiticus is not forgery, it's not inauthentic, it's not fake. So I don't know where that information is coming from. Well, actually, I do know where information is coming from, but it is not. And anybody that says otherwise, I would love to have a conversation with you on that. All right. Now, for manuscripts, I don't have a strict preferred manuscript because that's not how the science works. I have preferred readings in multiple manuscripts. So if I'm given a passage and we say, Divine, what would have been the original? For example, Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 9, 32, verse 8, excuse me. Should it say sons of God, sons of Elohim, or sons of Israel? The best rendering for that is sons of El. Why? Because we can authenticate that from the Ugaritic text, and we can also authenticate that if we do what's called deduction in textual criticism and deduce it down to the most common denominator, Elohim, El, and Yisrael. They all share El, which would have been the original rendering. And then over time, you get Yisrael, you get Elohim, etc., and others, right? Okay, make sure you understand that. So when it comes to the Tanakh, I look at the Septuagint, I look at the Masoretic text, I look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, I look at the Nash Papyrus, I look at the Targums or Targumim, I look at all of that. And I try to figure out which one has the best reading. And if there is multiple readings and there's textual variants, Brevior Lectio, the one with the shortest rendering, more than likely is going to be the most authentic. Okay? When it comes to the New Testament, particularly the Gospels, my preferred manuscript is the Old Syriac Sinaiticus Palimpsest. That's my preferred manuscript. Okay? I measure everything that I get from the Greek against that. And whatever that says, I hold it over the Greek, except for a few places in the Greek. The Greek is superior. But for the most part, my perspective is that goes back, especially the book of Matthew within the OSS, goes back to what the Ebionites and the Nazarenes would have had in the 1st, 2nd century. Okay? That's my pedigree. So I lean towards that. I'm biased towards that, but not wholly biased, but I'm partially biased towards that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jesuron. You're correct. Comparative textual analysis, shorter reading preferred. And again, our classes will be starting again very soon. Once I can stabilize things, which I'm on the path to, I will put an announcement back out about the classes, because the next class we're dealing with contextual analysis. But the comparative textual analysis, that right there is part of our 7 points of textual criticism in order to decipher any passage of scripture. We have a science to show you how to decipher any passage of scripture, leave no stone unturned. All right. All right. So Droze said, I'm currently on the Targums, but can't find a lot of sources for it. When you say a lot of sources for it, what are you talking about? You have the pseudo-Jonathan, you have the Jonathan, you have the Neophiti, and you have the Ankelos. Those are the 4. Pseudo-Jonathan, Jonathan, Ankelos, and Neophiti. My preference is the Neophiti. That's my preference, okay, when it comes to the Targum. All right. Now, you have to elaborate, be a little more specific, Droze, and let me know what you mean by that. Shout out to Apothecary Custom in the building. Shalom. Sundiata, Marcelin, shalom. Hey, excellent, excellent point. But the problem is people cannot elevate to that point. They cannot elevate to that point. And I've been touching on this so many times on this channel. People just don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. But I will not stop the fight in regards to that. And I'm going to keep pushing and addressing that. Thank you for that comment, Sundiata. All right. Shout out to God and Me. I think I gave you a shout out already. Let me see. Anybody else I missed? I think I grabbed everybody. Pause. All right. Okay, so hopefully I answered that question for you. The Deji 144, hopefully I answered that question for you. Okay. So again, go to the Patreon. We have books on textual criticism. There is a primer on textual criticism. Matter of fact, let me go to the Patreon and show you the primer in regards to textual criticism. This is why you need to sign up for the Patreon so that you are aware of this. Okay. Everybody in here should be on the Patreon. Let me give you a good book for a beginner. All right. And here it is. Let me share my screen. Shout out to Larry, Shalom. All right, share my screen. All right, this book right here is called Textual Criticism of the Bible by Amy Anderson and Wendy Witter, part of the Lexham Method series. This, if you want to get your feet wet in textual criticism, read this book. We also have like 20 others in regards to textual criticism on the Patreon. You just type in textual criticism and it'll come up. But this is your primer. Read this first, get familiar with it, and then you can start reading other ones that are a little more advanced in this, okay? All right, shalom to Karima Poet in the building. Bishop Bulwick, you added a question. Hold on 1 second. Let me address this YouTube foolery so y'all can see why I'm pushing people to Patreon. Okay? Let me show you this foolishness. All right? Here's this email. And you know, the reason why I'm really upset over this is because shout out to my brother Caleb Parham, shalom. The reason why, so Droze, let me give you a book to read, okay? Let me give you a book to read, brother. I know you're on the Patreon, so I'm gonna give you a book to read. Let me give you a book to read on the Targums, okay? Okay. This book right here by Martin McNamara called Targum and Testament Revisiting, Aramaic Paraphrases of the Hebrew Bible. Get that book and read it. It will give you the 101s that you need to know in regards to the Targumim. All right? Or the Targumim. Excuse me. Right? Get that book. Read that book. Let that be your homework. Right? Read that book, and it will give you every insight you need in regards to the Targum. All right? Excellent book. And it also compares it to the New Testament, which a lot of people are clueless about that connection. And without that connection, there's a lot of things that you miss in deciphering the New Testament or the Brit Hadashah. Right? So with that being said, let me move off of that. Let's go to this YouTube foolishness. All right. Let me zoom in because my screen might be small. Let's zoom in. All right. This is from good old YouTube. Hi, Kingdom Harbinger Ministries. We wanted to let you know our team reviewed your content, and we think. You see that? They think. They don't even know. They're moving based on assumptions. You see this? We think it violates our medical misinformation policy. We know you may not have realized this was a violation of our policy, so we're not applying a strike to your channel. However, we have removed the following content from YouTube. The Karagma documentary behind the scenes discussion with priest Danya Allah of Lions of Israel camp. Time it occurred. You can see an example around 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 28 seconds in your video. Well, I can't see that because you removed the video. You deleted it. I don't even know what was said. While this is one example, there may be other instances. We realize this may be disappointing news, but it's our job to make sure that YouTube is a safe place for all. If you think we've made a mistake, no, I know you made a mistake. You can appeal this decision. You'll find more details below. And I appealed it, and guess what? They stood by their decision. What their policy says, content that poses a serious risk of egregious harm by spreading medical misinformation about currently administered vaccines that are approved and confirmed to be safe and effective by local health authorities and the World Health Organization isn't allowed on YouTube. So anything you say, not in adversely, again, I'm not adversely against vaccines. I'll say it again, YouTube. But anything you say as an alternative to vaccines, and if you talk about the minority, I'm very careful with my words, of potential adverse effects, YouTube will not allow it. Okay? This is the battle that I have to fight with YouTube all the time, because not only did they delete the videos that I make in regards to vaccines, but in regards to other content as well. They deleted at least 15 videos that I can think of, and I'm sure it was more than 15, but those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. So that's why I got to move everything to Patreon. Patreon has tons more information in regards to vaccinations there. If you really want to read an objective medical article, scientific journals, peer-reviewed books, etc., we have it all there. Okay, we have it all there. All right. So that's what it's saying. They're systematically deleting every video that I've done when I speak about vaccinations, which is wild. So it looks like I cannot discuss vaccinations on here anymore. If I speak about vaccinations again going forward, I may speak about it in passing here, but it will be a video on the Patreon. So sign up to Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. Okay. Shout out to JP Uncut, says, gotta come by the channel and talk sometime. Hey, send me the invite to kingdomharbinger@gmail.com and we can address that. All right. You Love Yah says, question, what would be the grounds for civil action? I'm just asking since they are not forthcoming righteously. Wow. You Love, are you talking about YouTube or something else? Let me know. Let me know, okay? And yes, they're taking down all of my vaccination-based videos. And I've done a lot of teachings on that. Y'all go back, look for any ones that's remaining, and download it now. Okay. Yeah, well, there has been a couple of class action lawsuits attempting against YouTube, but in regards to this, to me, it's very vague. What in particular or explicitly that I said, the claim or citation or otherwise that I said that is in direct violation of your policy? They're very generic, they're very general, and they're not explicit. So I have no clue I have no clue. So a class action lawsuit should be done in regards to this, because in the beginning of COVID, all the stuff that the people was coming out speaking in regards to the mRNA vaccines, remember I said mRNA vaccines, turned out to be true. Some jobs were restored, city, state jobs, federal jobs, because it was turned by the circuit court, overturned the stuff that Biden and them did. But a lot of other stuff stood to be true. But yet, channels were violated by YouTube because of that. I was one of them. They took down several of my videos during that early time of COVID, and it came out to be true. Now what, YouTube? Can I get those videos restored? No? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, moving forward, let me start addressing a couple of questions real quick, all right? I'm going to move forward on that. All right, move forward on that. Again, Divine Light Records, still waiting on somebody to find the artist that we put out recently, the name of the artist and the song. If you can find that, drop it in the chat and you'll win a prize, okay? All right. Of course it is, because it's a catch-all. You know. Shout out to Yiri Ya, Shalom. Lion from Zion, Shalom. Thank you. Thank you so much. I salute and appreciate that, my brother. Everybody that has prayed for me, kept me on their mind and their spirit before y'all. Thank you. Okay, because I know a lot of y'all, I saw a lot of people unsubscribing from YouTube, a lot of people deleting their Patreon subscriptions, and I understand that. No problem, right? But I'm healthy, I'm well, I'm in my right mind, I'm raising my family, I'm working these jobs, I'm finding other avenues of revenue to fuel the ministry. I'm doing ministry behind closed doors by counseling and assisting, etc. A lot of stuff I'm doing. So ministry, when I turn this camera off, ministry still goes on, even if you don't see me on this camera. A lot of other YouTube personalities, as soon as they turn as soon as the internet goes off, they ain't dealing with none of y'all. During COVID, when we did our religious exemption life, we helped over 185 people, almost 200 people we helped. From the time that we started the service until now, we helped almost 200 people keep their jobs and stay in school. A lot of your other personalities on YouTube, y'all the Morays or whatever you call them, a lot of y'all went to them and they couldn't help you, and you came here and we helped you. We helped you. We did at least 40 appeals out of the 180 something that we did. All successful. Have you been unsuccessful? Yes. There was about 7 or 8 different cases we could not do anything for. We attempted, we could not do anything for, but that was the minority. We help people keep their jobs so they can feed their families, and we help people so that way they can stay in school. That doesn't turn off when the screen goes off. Natural Path to Eden, helping people stay healthy, helping people recover from cancer, from high blood pressure, from diabetes, from eczema, you name it, allergies, severe allergies. We're still working that on and off camera. Jubilee Manumission, people with bad credit, need credit repair, need to be financially responsible. That still continues on even off this camera. Homeschooling, still assist people with that off camera. We don't stop when this camera goes off. So ministry continues. So everybody that's prayed for me, went before the Most High for me and KHM, everybody continues to donate and support. That stuff doesn't just do the on-screen stuff. It helps with the off-screen stuff. And I appreciate y'all for that. Thank you for that. And I'm going to continue to fight this fight as long as y'all gives me the breath to do so. All praises. And thank you all for being my VIPs and holding me down. All right, look at this. Look what Larry said. I didn't tell him to say that. He said, I was helped, submitted, no problem. We have actual testimonies off screen for ministry that we do and help people. We counsel people. A lot of people come to me wanting to commit suicide. I ain't going to put no names out there. A lot of people come to me saying that they overwhelmed, they're about to divorce their wife, divorce their husband. A lot of people coming to me and say they're going to give away custody of their kids. They can't do it no more. A lot of people come to me and say, I lost my job. What should I do? We helped all those people. People say, oh, I need to pay my bill. Give them $1,000. Help people stay where they need to stay at. Work with them on a financial plan. Okay, we give this to you now. What you going to do next month? Ministry does not stop when this camera goes off. So a lot of times, if I'm not able to complete lectures that I want to do, which I have tons of them queued, I have about 7 lectures queued up that I'm still working on little by little until they're finished and do it. And I'm contemplating of doing my next lecture in person. I want to get back to that again. That's what I love to do. I love to teach in front of an audience. Behind camera is fine, but in front of the audience is more organic, is more lively, is more engaging. I love it. The energy and everything. Next lecture, more than likely, will be done to an audience. And more than likely, it would be in Houston when we do our chapter launch. So if you're in Houston, you're going to get a double whammy. All praises to the Most High. All right. All praises. All praises. Because of this ministry, her husband, her Ish, was able to keep the feast days and wear Z seats at work. I'm not telling these people to do this. These are people that I love, I care about, and I respect. They came to us for help, and we helped them. They're doing this of their own volition. Praise y'all for them being here right now. So YouTube, you could do whatever you want, but in real life, YouTube, the information we put out is changing lives. It's making a difference. It's helping our community and those outside our community. This is not just limited to the Israelite community. You know how many Christians we help keep their jobs? Muslims we help keep their jobs? All right. Shout out to my brother Abdiel says, come to the H-Town. Yes, that's the next lecture. Chapter launches in H-Town. And we got to do Toronto. We got to do Toronto. While I'm out there in H-Town, we're doing double whammy. We're doing a lecture. I'm going to find a powerful lecture out of the 7 that I got. I'm just going to pick one. So I'm going to do this at H-Town. And then we're going to do the chapter launch following that up. Because we owe it to H-Town. It's been over almost, 2 years? We're supposed to be at H-Town. So when we go to H-Town, we're going hard. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. H-Town, we on the way. We on the way. All praises. All right, let me go up and deal with these questions real quick. Let's see. Let me see. I know people dropped some questions and stuff in here. Let me see. Thank you for stating this, Caleb. All right, let's see. Now, what's interesting, Bishop Bullwinkle, I've seen you on other chats before. I'm not sure who you are, but regardless of that, I spoke to Deacon Hakar recently. I seen him at the event that was out here in Atlanta. I forget the name of that event. Man, memory's fried right now. But anyway, we had a brief conversation about this as well. So I'm sure you're coming from that perspective, right? So let's deal with that. 1 Corinthians chapter 8. I'll deal with this real quick. And remember, Paul gives his advice outside of the Lord. Okay? He gives his advice outside of the Lord. What is your position on Paul, Divine? Here's my position. Paul is not authoritative to Jews. If you identify as a Jew and Israelite, Paul's not authoritative to you. He's authoritative to Gentiles. He says this out of his own mouth. We see this in Acts chapter 15 as well as Galatians chapter 1 and 2. So Paul can say whatever he wants. Whether he's led by the Spirit or not, it is not authoritative in regards to me because I identify as an Israelite. So when I dive into Paul's writings, I go there for some wisdom nuggets. And I can be selective. Now, if I didn't identify as an Israelite or Jew, then it would be authoritative over me. That's always been my position. Matter of fact, let me see. Since 2015, that's been my position. So 9 years I've held that position, right? A lot of people in the community did not hold that position who subscribed to the Messiah or held to the New Testament. But now we got a lot of them in the community now that has the same position as me. I did a whole lecture on this. Whole lecture. Am I denigrating Paul? Of course not. Am I disapproving Paul? Of course not. What I'm saying is Paul makes it clear when he says my gospel, and he says this is what I recommend to you, not the Lord. He's giving you his advice. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. When it comes to this issue in regards to idols, he is not giving you a command that's from the Lord. Let's read it. 1 Corinthians chapter 8. Let me share the screen real quick. You see, the stuff I say is real. It's real. It's real. You should see me in those Clubhouse streets. Download the Clubhouse app if you have Apple, or if you have Google or Android. Download the Clubhouse app and follow me on @DivineProspect. I'm on there weekly. Maybe once a week, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. I'm on there weekly, and I have all these conversations always like this, always goes down on that platform. It's very easy for me to get up and running, and I can multitask while I'm on there, which I can't do when I'm on YouTube, right? So it says, now concerning food offered to idols, we know that all of us possess knowledge. This knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. If anyone imagines he knows something, he does not yet know as he ought to know. But if anyone loves God, he is known by God. Therefore, as to the eating of food offered to idols, we know that an idol has no real existence, and that there is no God but one. Let's address this real quick. When he says an idol has no real existence, idols are physical items that do exist. Somebody created it with their hands and they exist. We know because Paul in Acts chapter 17, he encountered these large idols. But when he says no real existence, he's saying that we are denying their ontology by not calling out these specific idols to these specific gods, because it's part of Torah. Let me show you something real quick. All right, let me show it to you. Let's get Exodus chapter 23 and verse 13. Exodus 23 and verse 13. And it says, pay attention to all that I've said to you, and make no mention of the names of other gods, nor let it be heard on your lips. In the ancient Near East, gods exist or have ontology when you mention their names, right? Onomastics, you deal with their names, you mention their reputation, you mention their fame, you give food offerings to it so they can eat, you give drink offerings to it if they can drink. You make votive offerings so you can make covenants and promises with it, and you build a house for them, which is a temple, and you go in and you give obeisance or you worship them. This keeps gods alive. This is how you sustain gods. This is how Israel sustained their God. So when you see an idol and you do not acknowledge its existence, which is the power behind that idol, what you're doing is you're taking away the power from that idol by denying its existence. That doesn't mean it does not exist, but you deny its existence, thereby mitigating its power and authority over you and others around you. Let's get back to Paul. And when it says the names, is referring to their fame, their reputations, their fame, the knowledge of them, and even their proper nouns or nomenclatures, their names. All of this is contained in what this is saying. I did a whole academic blog on Patreon. Sign up for patreon.com/DivineProspect to go read my academic blog in regards to Exodus chapter 23 and verse 13 and how this relates to Yahweh or Yah or Yahweh. All right? So when Paul is addressing this, this is what he's addressing. Okay? Because Paul said that touching the law, he was blameless. Now, let's go back. And he says, and that there is no God but one. Is this true? There are other gods. Henotheism, some say, was practiced by the ancient Israelites, which means that there were multiple gods, but they singled one out to be supreme because they identify the supreme God as the creator God. And in the annals of Tanakh history, this deity has never been challenged for his throne. So there's a conditional henotheism that's occurring there, where there are other gods, which the Tanakh mentions exists, but this one God is supreme because he's the creator of all these other things. And also, when it says do not make mention of the names of other gods, well, that can't be true because all throughout the Tanakh is names of other gods. So is it talking about the proper name of these gods or their fame, reputation, or knowledge? You see that? For although there may be, listen to what he's saying, so-called gods in heaven or in earth. In heaven, which would mean henotheism, the divine council, it exists. So he's not saying there's no other gods, just like he's saying there's idols don't exist. He's saying for although there may be so-called other entities, nations, people groups, individuals may acknowledge the existence and the supremacy of these other deities and their fame, fortune, and feed it and give it something to drink and a place where it, like in your house, you can create an altar to it. You know what I'm saying? Or shrine to these other gods, which is a substitute in the absence of a temple. He's saying to us, for although there may be so-called gods in heaven and earth, as indeed there are many gods and many lords, you see this? Yet for us there is one God, the Father, from whom are all things, and for whom we exist, and one Lord, Jesus Christ, through whom all things and through whom all exist. However, not all possess this knowledge, but some, through former association with idols, you see that? Former association with idols eat food as really offered to an idol, and their conscience, being weak, is defiled. So they've had association with idols in the past. They've come into the truth and eat food as really offered to an idol, and their conscience, being weak, is defiled. So in their conscience, they become defiled because they feel that if you eat food offered to an idol, that's going to affect you because they had experience with that deity before. They had the knowledge of this deity before, the experience of this deity before, the priori experience with the deity. So now when they get in front of food offered to that idol of that deity, they get weak and they're defiled and they resist it because they at once acknowledged the supremacy, the power and knowledge of this former God. Verse 8, for food will not be consumed, will not commend us to God. We are no worse off if we do not eat it and no better off if we do. So what Paul's saying is that even though it affects those who either currently eat food offered to idols, because to them it doesn't address them, but he's dealing with those who used to walk that life and now they refuse to eat anything offered to idols. He's saying, but to those who really believe, maybe those who don't have that prior experience, that stuff don't mean nothing because we're not acknowledging that God. And I'm gonna tell you this: a lot of y'all in the truth, y'all been to those Chinese restaurants in the hood. Y'all see that Buddha statue. Y'all go in there and order you some lo mein, order you some chicken fried rice, order you some egg foo young, order you some dumplings. And there's that Buddha idol that's sitting right up there. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. And y'all still go in there and eat that food. But it doesn't bother you because you've never had experience or the knowledge or intimacy with that religion. So therefore, eating from there, it's ignored. But if you ate there before, you would say, whoa, I'm not going back there to eat that. And Paul's saying, if you feel that way, your conscience is defiled because it shows that you used to have prior experience with that and now it's affecting you. But to us, we don't acknowledge any of that. So we'll eat it. We'll eat it because that doesn't mean anything. This is what he's saying. Now, my position, whether I agree or disagree with this, is another conversation. I'm just exegeting it for you. This is what Paul is saying. Let's go into the rest of it. All right. For if anyone sees you who have knowledge eating in an idol's temple, will he not be encouraged? If his conscience is weak to eat food offered to idols, and so by your knowledge, this weak person is destroyed, the brother from whom Christ died. So what he's saying is those of you who formerly had encountered this idol, and that meant something when the food is sacrificed to the idol that you ate before in a temple, which is rarely done today. So we got to look for a one-to-one mapping. I gave you an example of y'all going into, maybe some of y'all, I don't know, but maybe some of y'all may have been Buddhists and you're going to a restaurant where somebody got booty there and they got food, and now you converted over. You say, whoa, I'm not going in to eat. They got booty there. I see that. I ain't dealing with that. They're saying that from that knowledge that you had and why you resisted, now if another brother does not have that same knowledge and have not encountered that, you are destroying him by saying, no, let's not eat it. Verse 12, thus sinning against your brothers and wounding their conscience when it is weak, you sin against Christ. Therefore, if food makes my brother stumble, I will never eat meat lest I make my brother stumble. So he's saying that if anybody is destroyed because of this conscience that is weak and defiled from their former association with these idols who the food is sacrificed by, and vice versa, and you cause your brother to stumble because of that, then you must resist eating from that restaurant. Say, oh, we're not going to go to the Chinese restaurant. I don't know something. Let's go eat something else. It's pretty much the advice that Paul's giving you. So in regards to this, no commands. Paul did not say, the Lord said. He's giving you his advice. Okay. Hopefully that cleared that up. Me personally, if I know that Chinese restaurant is sacrificing meat unto idols, if I know it, not assume it, if I know it, I'm not going there to eat no Chinese food. I pretty much don't eat from no Chinese food like that anymore. I used to do that when I was in the Bronx. When I came into Atlanta, I was brand new, ninja. Like, I stopped doing that. But if I was back in the Bronx, it's for all familiar. I'm like, yo, let's go get that chicken lo mein. Let's get those dumplings at Egg Foo Young from the hood Chinese restaurants, bruh. I ain't gonna lie, them joints was slapping back then. But now I'm on the tin drum and all that. Now I'm on a different level with it. But that's what it says here. No commands from the Lord. Nothing saying that the Spirit has told you to say this. Paul's giving you his advice based on addressing a concern of the ecclesia at Corinth. All right? Okay. All right. With that being said, shout out to my brother Rodney Frederick, KTS 2K20. Shalom. Let's see. Anybody else I miss? Anytime, Bishop. Let's see. Anybody else I missed? Did I get everybody? I think I got everybody. Okay. All right, y'all. With that being said, I'm going to wrap up. This was a short session on today. Y'all willing, I'm going to try to go live tomorrow. I love y'all. I missed y'all. Whenever I'm in this space, man, praise the Most High. The Spirit comes upon and rejuvenates me. It sets back my purpose when I be trying to run from it all the time. But you can't run what you're called to. Whatever y'all called you to, he's drawing you to. You can fight, scream, whatever, but you're going to be drawn to it. So more all praises to the Most High for that. And thank all of y'all for your prayers, donations, and support behind the scenes. I appreciate y'all. And again, sign up for that Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect, to continue to support our ministry, support our research and development, support all the resources that we put on Patreon, and to continue to empower us so we can help this community. All right. And what I'm going to do also later, not today, but sometime soon in the future, is we're going to have a donation link for anybody that wants to support our endeavors in the music industry, bringing true music to the masses and supporting all the acts that we have so that we can bring additional revenue in so we can build up this ministry. All praise to the Most High. All right. Emilio, yes. If you are interested in me coming overseas and doing a lecture, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Let me know the date, the time, the subject matter, and we got you. All right. Okay. All right. With that said, thank you all for watching. Y'all willing, I'll be here tomorrow. I love y'all. That's hilarious. Yo, stop. Oh man. How can you better understand what y'all called you to? A lot of brothers and sisters asked me to do a mentorship program. When I start that, I'll help with that. I did a couple of videos on here about that, but I would do a formal class where I help with mentorship, help guide people through life struggles, situations. What's my calling? What should I do in regards to finances? What should be my career path? How should I better care for my family, et cetera, et cetera? We're going to do mentorship classes, okay? So we can help y'all the best we can. You know, I'm not perfect at any of this, but what I've accomplished and what Yah has done through me, that little I want to share to the people so that we are on even playing field and we can help each other. All right. So Thank you all. Ryan, you can access the next time we're live, brother. Keep your notifications on. Hit that notification bell, so that way you know whenever we go live. And the next time we go live, ask your question and we will tackle that for you. All right. Love all you. Thank you, my VIPs, for holding me down, holding us down at KHM. And thank y'all for your devotion to Yah, to this Israelite community. We have tons of work to do. The harvest truly is great and labors are few. If y'all want to sign up for KHM, the link is in the description below. Sign up and join the team. Let's get this work done in your city. And if you want us in your city, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, and we will do what we can. If there's anything we can do to better serve and minister to you, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. All praises. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next live stream. All praises to the Most High Yah, and much love and thanks to all of y'all. Peace and shalom.